He's defensively marked by Whitecloud. A turnover. Perry right in. Just off his stick. He was taken down by Nick Holden.
Well, the turnover by Vegas, and Corey Perry read it beautifully. And as he made the strong move to the net, he went to his backhand and just couldn't get the shot. He makes the defensive play first, and now will move up on the play, and he'll read this, put himself in position, fights for the loose puck, and the puck just goes off the end of his stick.
Now Montreal right back. Here comes Gallagher. His shot turned out by Leonard. And then Gallagher fans on the rebound opportunity.
And meanwhile, just prior to that, here's the speed that you're talking about. Gallagher gets a shot. Leonard able to come up with the save, Pierre.
Yeah, no, I agree with you by the testing Robin Leonard.
Free to the corner, Yoel Armia. Stall in back of the cage, out in front, and it rolls off the stick of Perry again. Corey Perry staked out, Stall in front, Armia, stopped by Leonard. Now Stall tried to play it off the goaltender. It comes all the way back. Petrie with a shot wide through a screen. And Patrick Brown has control, and Vegas will survive all of that.
Montreal Canadiens have established this forecheck early on here in Game 4. Robin Leonard's being tested, and he's hanging in there. Johnny made the point. He's coming up big, especially down low.
Whitecloud pinching for the Golden Knights. Kakadiemi gets to it.
Watch this. Joel Edmondson on Will Carrier right there. That's a dangerous play. That is really dangerous. The fact there's no call right there. Dan O'Rourke's looking right at it. That makes you wonder what the standard's going to be here tonight.
Corey Perry, he'll shift. He'll go to work again from both knees out in front. What a save! Leonard says no on Eric Stahl. He's got it.
They're checking to see if the Stahl opportunity crossed the line on Robin Leonard. That's why we have a delay.
Boy, what a save. And another excellent play by Corey Perry. Corey Perry's had the puck around the Vegas net a number of times. There it is again. That's just it wasn't the first one, it was the second one on the rebound that they're checking. Because that first save was a beautiful save, pad save. And here's the second.
I see the puck outside the line. I never see it cross. I don't know.
So they're done looking at it.
Right.
And I don't think we'll get an interpretation. Now Gallagher, great pass. Philip Danault goes wide. And it's defended beautifully by Alex Pietrangelo. 5:45 left, period one. Josh Anderson, defended by Holden. They get a second crack at it. He'll turn it deep. Kakadiemi holding on to it. A power move out in front. Vegas gets back to the defensive house.
This line is flying for Montreal.
William Karlsson cycles high with it. Shea Theodore to the outside of Toffoli, shielded off the stick of Price.
Well, an early save for Carey Price. This shot looked like he was screened on the play. Picked it up right at the end and just gets a piece of it with the stick.
Gallagher busting in for Montreal. He stops on a dime, a backhander stop, and Leonard got the rebound.
Pietrangelo on the right defenseman makes a very good move, but Danault just stayed with him defensively, which allowed Montreal to clear the zone, and then away goes Gallagher, and you're right, 23 in white. Martinez comes all the way back to help out.
Look where he had to start from. He was at the top of the circle, and he had to try to catch up to a swift Brendan Gallagher, and he does a good job running Gallagher.
It rolls in on Leonard. Suzuki darting right in front of him. McNabb hurried by Caulfield. A wrap chance stopped by Leonard. Kakaniemi through the middle. Nice pass off the stick of Anderson. Melted down by Leonard. Now some rough stuff.
Well, Anderson stopped right in front of Leonard, and then cruised past him, and Theodore didn't like it, and so Anderson drew a crowd. 8 hits for Anderson already in this game. And meanwhile, there's the chance by Suzuki, 14, almost got to the puck before Robin Leonard was able to clear it. And then one more, watch 22, Caulfield steals it, and then that quickness right around the net, and Robin Leonard there again.
It's amazing how pucks come to goal scorers, and when you're a real good goal scorer and you can go forecheck the puck and force turnovers, it's amazing how much it can help your line mates out as well.
Shea Weber moves it back. The Canadians a huge story in the playoffs. Down 3-1 in round one, came all the way back, upset Toronto, swept Winnipeg. At the start of these playoffs, they were 500-1 underdogs.
Nosek better be careful behind the plays, tied up with Weber.
And they're
Weber's
going to
rip his head off if he's not careful.
Well, he wants to get Weber off the ice.
Well, it started before that. It was a hit from behind.
Yeah, you're right. Hit him twice, actually. Nosek did. And then Weber, and the referee was right there. And first he saw Nosek with the 2 hits on Weber. And then he saw Weber get incensed and go back at Nosek. And now I think they're both heading off here.
Yeah, that's probably what he was trying to do. But I'll tell you one thing, Joe, right now, Shea Weber's the wrong guy to get ticked off.
I agree.
Especially if you're Thomas Nosek.
Yeah.
So the referee let that hit from behind on Nosek go, and then he let all this stuff go until the end.
Petrie and Edmondson back in the 4-on-4 sequence. Theodore to the slot, Stone to the outside. Pietrangelo stopped by Price.
And so a very brief 5-on-3 coming up for Vegas.
As Carey Price fighting off that high, hard shot.
To the half boards, he sets up shop. Now Stone all the way across. Pacioretty, he loses control. Lehkonen all over him. Carlson can't win that battle, and the Canadians get it out.
What an effort by Artturi Lehkonen. Johnny just made the point. Their playoff performance has been phenomenal, shorthanded. Look at this effort by Lehkonen. He just never quit on the play. Out muscling people, wanting the puck more, and clearing it up and out of the zone.
Up top, Pietrangelo, he'll slam one off the pipe. Danault got to it, not out, held in by Pietrangelo. Alex Pietrangelo thinks about a shot. Marchessault off a body, off Price, went off Weber first. Pietrangelo to the outside, it's Pacioretty. He'll draw it along, he'll settle it down. Off Carlson, captured by Danault. He'll get it out.
Well, in that time, Stone was directly in front of Carey Price. The first one hit the post, Price didn't see it. The next one deflected wide.
Now Martinez in the zone, moves it in by Price at the side of the goal. Wah! Great stick by Weber. One shot on the power play, one pipe. That doesn't count as a shot. Now a breakaway. Paul Byron is in. He scores! Paul Byron breaks the ice. Montreal with a 1-0 lead in Game 4.
Paul Byron had the winner in Game 2 on a breakaway. And here's the pose for Alex Pietrangelo. It doesn't go in, and Joe, the other way it comes. And off to the races they go.
And Weber makes the play right here, saved the goal. Waugh had all that room, and right after that, they clear it, and here comes the pass from Suzuki. Breakaway, and Byron waits and puts it up high.
Interference is the call. Power play Montreal. Toffoli in deep. Perry in front for Suzuki. Shut down. Great save by Robin Lehner. Mark that one. 9 seconds left here in the second period. A disturbance in back of the play. Suzuki and McNabb. Pietrangelo too. And we'll see what happens here.
Well, Suzuki had that chance. And right after the save by Lehner, which was a good one, he gets hit and tangled up by McNabb. I believe he broke his stick, and then he and McNabb, and that's the thing about Suzuki. For a young player, boy, he doesn't back down. And here's the play again. Eventually in front, here it is, shot, breaks his stick, and now McNabb does that to him. There it is again, and Suzuki says, I'm not going to take that. Not going to take that. Takes another push and says, you know what, I got to push back. Takes the left hand by McNabb. Pietrangelo comes in. It draws more of a crowd. Corey Perry's always around.
Lay it along now. Moved in. Merrill. His shot rejected by Lehner. The rebound. Caulfield. And what a stop by Lehner. That's his best on the second opportunity for Cole Caulfield. Deflecting back, and now Cole Caulfield with a step on Theodore. Here he comes. Caulfield's in. Shut down by Robin Lehner.
Now that chance, watch Suzuki 14. He makes a defensive play, and then Caulfield takes advantage of the misplay, and away he goes. The speed, and he's got fabulous hands. And Robin Lehner, you're right, Pierre, remember this one.
Yeah, you see the speed. You see, look at his head is up. He thinks he's got 5-hole. Lehner takes it away from him.
Now Theodore to the corner. Carlson Shifting on Merrill. He'll try this side. There's McNabb. They score! Braden McNabb leaks it through Carey Price. And with 9:23 left, the Golden Knights have tied it.
Well, Anson Carter was saying between periods he'd like to see something more out of Karlsson, and he sees it right here. Karlsson ends up making the play from behind the net. McNabb read it. There's the first chance. Suzuki broke that one up. But then 71 is Karlsson. Good move here, Pierre, and then the setup.
What a finish, though, by McNabb. I love the setup by Karlsson. His head is up. He puts it in the wheelhouse for McNabb. That's a hard shot, Joe. A cross-body shot like that, and he finds a way to sneak it past Carey Price. Just remember that save Robin Lehner made against Cole Caulfield, because it should be 2-0 Montreal. It's 1-1.
He'll dump it in. Lehkonen in first ahead of Martinez, wedged right on. Lehner, 2 saves, a third stop as Gallagher came calling.
Yeah, Montreal on a simple dump in. Watch Danault, he just puts it in, and now they go to work. They get in quickly. Here's one deflection there, and then another one. And Lehner makes 2 key saves and then gets some help coming back from Max Pacioretty.
Brendan Gallagher's like a heat-seeking missile here. Watch number 11 in the middle of your screen come careening right in fearlessly.
Yeah. As the Canadians try to advance out, Tuck goes across. Pacioretty on a change. He'll circle the track. He'll wind one off sticks. It's available. Price says no. The rebound. They score. Nick Waugh does it. And the Vegas Golden Knights win Game 4 in overtime.
Long shift for Sherrod and Weber. Live legs off the bench for Vegas. And they make it 2-1 because of those live legs, Joe.
Well, Max Pacioretty came off the bench. And when he went around the net with the puck, he was able to get it to the front of the net. Nick Waugh now has goals in consecutive games, and this one's a game winner. Watch Pacioretty. That's Waugh. Montreal can't clear it out. Here's Pacioretty with the puck. Now he's got some speed, some energy. He'll be able to get it across on net. One save. Price can't make the second. Strong move by Pacioretty. The deflection. Wow, one shot. Excellent save by Price. And then Price out of position as Waugh is able to put it up and over him and tie the series at 2.
He grew up just outside Montreal. What a moment for Vegas's Nick Waugh with the overtime winner. Series again on level ground for the second time. It's best of 3, and home ice is back on the side of the Vegas Golden Knights.